guys, what's up? This is Victoria from iaam, and tonight Christina, Caitlin, Tyler, and I are in the living room with Stacy Igel, founder and creative director of the fashion line Boy Meets Girl. It was featured in this year's Style 360 New York Fashion Week in her last show, Just Dance with Boy Meets Girl, featuring pop sensation Austin Moan, actress Brittany Snow, and tennis player Sloane Stephens. Her line was also featured in Glamour, 17, and many other magazines. Thank you for being with us tonight, Stacy. It's such a pleasure having you here.
Thank you, Victoria.
So we always like to start off our interviews, especially with fashion, with some questions about your line and your personal style so that the people who are watching and might be unfamiliar with Boy Meets Girl can kind of get an idea about it. So can you describe your style and what the Boy Meets line is for us?
Yeah, so my own personal style is really like eclectic and demure and edgy, all sort of rolled up into one little neat package, I like to say. So that's my own personal style. The Boy Meets Girl, she's confident, she likes to have a lot of fun, she doesn't take life too seriously. She really, she just has a good time. She goes to Coachella, she likes music, she goes to fun events, she's a blogger, she's a vlogger. And so that's really like the girl. Her, the demo is 16 to 30, I like to say. I'm slightly over that demo now. And that's my girl.
When did you start Boy Meets Girl?
I started it in 2001, and I wore this shirt for you guys. I don't know if you can see it. But this is coming out in my fall line. It was one of my Be One of a Kind shirts, and now we're shipping it this coming fall. But 2001.
That's awesome.
I'm outdating myself.
So, what are the biggest trends are you seeing this season?
For this current spring season, because actually it's weird because it's so cold here. So I'm like, is it spring? Is it snowing? In New York City, it keeps snowing. There's no warm weather. But for spring, what I'm seeing is a lot of black and white, a lot of color, a lot of blue hues, gladiator sandals, a lot of graphic tees. Some of my favorites is rompers and like jumpsuits, which I love to rock, and I'm going to be showing you some from the collection here as well. Like cute pantsuits and also short suits, like shorts with little jackets.
Oh, those are my favorite.
Aren't those awesome?
Too cute.
Super cute, and then you can wear your cute graphic tee underneath. Lots of jewelry, so I'm wearing some of actually jewelry from my collection that you'll see here called Boy Meets Girl X Roman Lux, and a lot of accessories, gold mixed with black python here.
Oh,
you're going to see a lot of that in spring, and we're shipping this now. Gosh, there's so many trends, but like with trends, I always think that you can't follow them all. You just have to pick that kind of specific thing that relates to you and you do your own personal style. So like, florals, if you're into florals, that's a huge trend right now. But I think like accents of it, like leopard as well. Gosh, there's so many spring trends, but I think those are like the highlights. Oh, also, which is crazy because this is very from my time period, is Birkenstocks.
Really?
Oh my God, I wear those all the time.
Is that crazy? So like, every designer is doing it in so many different ways. From like Kenneth Cole's doing it in a really creative way with like these gold and silver ones, but like the actual Birkenstocks and like Naotes are very in with like wearing them with like maxi dresses and putting them with socks, but so you can be comfy all summer long.
So very like bohemian style.
Yeah.
I'm loving that. I'm obsessed.
Who is your fashion muse?
Well, if you read my blog, Behind the Seams of Stacy Igel, or if you follow me on Instagram or Twitter, you'll know that Kate Moss is one of my very big top 3 muses. So she's someone who's just like, inflappable, her vintage style, just like from the 90s to now, she's just effortless, cool chic. Coco Chanel is also one of my very, the muses of just like the demure that I talk about in my own style. A little preppiness to her. And then also Patti Smith, who is a singer and just a really rocker, edgy type of style. She wears a blazer, a graphic tee, her denim jeans, and like she's consistent with her style.
What to you is most inspiring about the fashion industry?
You guys.
Aw.
I was thinking that. I was like, wait, what's most inspiring? It's just like the next generation. And for me, you know, as I'm growing in the business, I have another tier to the business called Boy Meets Girl University, which is educating young, you know, teens who are less privileged. We work with the Lower East Side Girls Club. We have different colleges that come here for different seminars, and I'm working on hopefully building a big scholarship program as well. So I think that, you know, just where technology is today and what we're doing right now is just like so inspiring to me.
That's awesome. That's really great to hear. Where do you get your inspiration from for your designs?
So I don't know if you guys have seen all my fashion shows during New York Fashion Week, but I'm always working with a different musician. And so when I'm designing for a different collection, I'm listening to music that becomes sort of the inspiration for certain pieces of the line, or different musicians that sort of I'm listening throughout the season, and I just like get inspired by their fearlessness and sort of their just style. That's one aspect of it, but it could also be like on the subway, in the shower, you know, in my sleep, and also just New York City, downtown and uptown. I've been living here for a decade plus. I'm from Chicago, but this is just really, you know, in the subway you see the style, and it's just like really cool, and the music scene there, and you're just like in this little bubble of, you know, everyone from all over the world. So I'm constantly inspired wherever I go, but music plays a huge part of, you know, everything that I do.
Yeah, totally. So can we see some of your pieces?
Oh, yes, you can. So I have it in the back of me here. So this piece here, this is the Alice T, and this is the Boy Meets Girl iconic logo. And this was, I launched this in 2001 in my first department store, Bergdorf Goodman. And this has been the iconic piece that I've shipped to every store across the country over the past 10 years. And so it's called the Alice T. It comes in all different colors. We're going to be launching it in like 20 new colors come this fall. We're playing around with things inside it. So this is my baby. And then this is the Cocoa hoodie. And the Cocoa hoodie also is, you know, one of my core pieces that I also launch in the first department store. I continually evolve it into like different fabrications, different colors. So this is like the core of the business. You'll see the zipper pull here, has the logo, it has my signature thumb holes here.
Oh, I love that.
And this comes with every hoodie. And it's named after Coco Chanel, of course. So that's the Coco. This is something from the recent runway show. So this is a romper with little pockets here.
Pockets are
this is actually a woven bottom here. And then, like I was talking about, like this whole shorts and jacket style. So it gives you a little bit more of a, you know, that kind of suit look.
Is that like tweed, the jacket?
Yeah, this is actually a woven mixed with a knit. So this is a tweed. And these colors were inspired from the Just Dance game because I designed the whole collection from the last show based all on the actual game.
Oh, cool.
And then this is a romper that's on the website right now that we continually sell. This is a knit here, French terry at the bottom.
Wow.
And then little teeth with the little zipper back.
Oh, that's cute.
And then our perforated jacket here, that's another trend that I should have mentioned, but perforated leather is massive for spring. So you can see that here.
Oh, wow.
And this is another romper. This is the one Brittany Snow wore, actually wore this down the runway with that perforated leather jacket. So when she came in here, we worked together on like what was the outfit that she would wear, and she really wanted to wear this.
I'll wear that too.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll see her in Pitch Perfect in it too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Pitch Perfect too. So we'll see. And so that's, you know, just some highlights from the line. I wanted to show you, you know, just the core and then some more fashion pieces.
Awesome. So where would you like to see your company in 5 years?
The famous question. Gosh, I'd like to see some brick and mortar stores be opened. So that means, retail stores.
Mhm.
And I'd like to see, distribution grow internationally. We're in some stores internationally now, but really grow, all over the world. So I also want to have a cologne, perfume line and cosmetics. So I want to do a lot. So I'd like to say keep growing, and working with really smart people.
Did you say your first department store was Bergdorf's Sale?
Yes.
That's so cool, because I just watched the documentary.
Scatter My Ashes?
About how big of a deal that is.
I did a blog, actually. I watched it as well, and Isaac Mizrahi, said, if you're not in Bergdorf Goodman, you're not anywhere. And I wrote a whole blog on this, and I felt bad because, designers don't necessarily have to be in Bergdorf's, but, it does put you on the map. And so for me, I started the line at, well, I don't want to tell you my age, but you'll find out. I'm like, let me tell. I started when I was really young, and, this was my first department store. And so it really put me on the map of other, magazines looking at you and also other stores across the country. So it was pretty crazy. And I'm actually going to see them next week to talk about possibly partnerships for the future. So I was in there from 2002. I started shipping until 2005, and then I started growing in other stores, but we might work with each other again, which is really cool.
It's a pretty fab place to start, though.
Oh, yeah.
It's definitely, it's an amazing store.
Who are some other entrepreneurs and designers that you're looking up to then and kind of see as a big influence?
Well, I like to say, I worked for Elie Tahari. I worked for a designer in London years ago named Xandra Rose. And I worked for Donna Karan when I interned one summer, and I worked for a woman named Elsa Clench who really created, it was called Style with Elsa Clench on CNN. It was before really fashion TV or what's happening in the space. So every single person that either I interned with or I worked for was sort of a mentor to me, and just like their work ethic, I would work with Elie Tahari, I feel bad saying this, till like midnight, doing fittings or looking at fabrics and sitting in his office. And I remember like calling my mom being like, I'm working so late. But at the same time, when you have your own business, you work 24/7, you're always on. So just from every like little different things that I've done throughout my career, they've really inspired me. Just in their work ethic, and by seeing that, I was able to understand and know like what I needed to do for myself.
What does it take to be successful in the fashion industry?
You really need, like I said, you're putting in a lot of time. You're not a doctor, but you're working doctor hours. So you really you have to have the passion and the drive, and really, want to do it. Whether you're a designer, whether you're, covering it, whether you're an editor, you have to believe in it and want to do it and have a great work ethic.
Speaking of work ethic and stuff and like working doctor's hours and everything, what is your absolute favorite part of your job?
I was thinking about that question because it's like the question of who's your favorite designer. And for me, I think it's obviously creating, and so creating not only the clothes but also creating the concepts for everything we do. So the whole 360 of putting on a fashion show, hiring. I mean, there's so many aspects of what is that creation. So of course I love drawing, and I love actually putting the garment together and designing that collection. That's probably the ultimate best thing I get to do. But that's also like 5% of my time in actually running the whole company and the aspects that I work. And so partnerships, licensing deals with my new jewelry line, that gets me so excited. Or seeing someone walking down the street and wearing the clothes, or giving back to charity. And I've campaigns to fight bullying across the country. Like every aspect of that creation is just, you know, I thrive from it.
Wow.
So what is like your biggest challenge at work?
I think for me it's turning myself off. So I'm 24/7. And then there's also the challenge of, as an employer, you know, being the best employer, and you know, what's the balance between a friend and an employer when you're younger. So I'm always, you know, challenging myself on my management skills, and you know, making sure my employees have a great time, love the work atmosphere, love what they're doing, and that's something I care a lot about. And that's always a challenge.
So you talked about hiring and having to manage the company. So what are you looking for when you're hiring someone who's going to be a good fit for your company?
I look for, you know, someone who has a passion and drive, and definitely, you know, has a work ethic, or has, whether they've worked in fashion or not. Sometimes, you know, I don't hire people who are only just in fashion. It might be they've worked for, you know, in a restaurant, and they've been a secretary somewhere. It's just someone who has, you know, this drive and excitement. So it depends on what I'm hiring for, you know, what position, but overall it's just, you know, someone who, you know, has a great personality, and you know, can fit together with a team, whether it's small or big. So I think it's just overall drive and excitement.
So speaking of just kind of getting started in the fashion industry, what is something you would tell yourself when you were just starting out as a fashion designer?
Keep moving. Yeah, I think it's, you know, you just got to keep believing in yourself. So I think every step of the way, you're sort of in the beginning, you're just moving a mile a minute, and so one, you got to keep breathing and keep moving, and you know, there's going to be a lot of obstacles along the way, and a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and so just having this, you know, your friends and your support and yourself and your confidence is the key to success for me.
What is the best career advice you've ever received?
Definitely the keep moving was one of them. Yeah, that's the main one. And I think also, you know, when you find a niche and something that you're good at, to really focus in on that. So, you know, for a while, when I launched in Bergdorf's, I launched with my main, you know, the graphic line of the Boy Meets Girl iconic logo, but I also had other products in there that were woven dresses or flowy sleeve shirts, and I think what someone once told me was that when you see something working, you know, build upon that and don't stray away from it. So I've always kept the core of the business. So yeah, I kept moving with those main products too.
Well, as you notice on iaam's Twitter page, we run like an interactive anti-bullying campaign all year round to encourage teens to be the one who takes the ultimate stance of bullying. So, speaking of bullying, how did you get involved with Bully Bust?
So in 2009, I was approached. Well, I had heard about the Bully Bust organization under the National School Climate Center, but I was working with Sammy Hannerty, a teen actress who's now like 18, so she's not as teen anymore, but she's still in her teens. And she was dealing with like cyberbullying back then, and that was before like really people were talking about bullying online, and you know, we didn't really have, you know, Twitter and Instagram back then, and so it was more just in the space of where she was at as an actress. And so we joined forces with Bully Bust, and we created a shirt together that was sold in Bloomingdale's stores across the country. And I gave back the money and the proceeds to the Bully Bust organization. So that was sort of when I sort of saw what was happening in the space, and I wanted to give back and help through the brand, because you know, it's just it's crazy where it's come today and how much bullying there is, and what we need to do to fight it. Yeah. So I wanted to be, as a brand, you know, to stand up and show that we were upstanders, and you know, really have this sort of strong presence to fight back. And then from there, it's just I've continued to work with them, and this past year a year and a half ago, I started working with Cassandra Bankson, a very big YouTuber, who walked in my New York Fashion Week show 2 Septembers ago, or actually a few shows, but that's where I met her. And she has had an acne problem, and so she talks about it on YouTube. And so we joined forces and created a campaign called BMG Live Out Loud, which is basically having other people all over the world tell us their Live Out Loud moment. So it's, for me, it's about sharing that you can, stand up for yourself and, not be a bystander, and we can all overcome this together. So I've really become involved, since that beginning time in 2009, and I continue to do that, through all different outlets I can give back.
So as a bully bust advocate, what's your advice to someone who's either being cyberbullied or just bullied at school, or kind of that typical mean girl scenario?
Well, I think, there's so many steps to how you have to go about it. And, there's so many different psychological and different ways that different people talk about it. So with Bully Bust, they've got like a 10-step rule of just what you can do. I'm not going to go off of all of this, but I think the main thing, if you're being bullied or your friend is being bullied, is that you need to, in your own school system, see if there are any rules about it, before you do anything. And also, you don't ever fight back. You need to stand up for yourself, but you have to do it in a certain way. So whether their school system has something to fight it, which is what the Bully Bust program does, is they go into the school systems and work with the teachers and the students. And you have to, or you go talk to a parent, and before you really, fight back and get your friends fighting against that person. So it has to stem from yourself, and being confident that this is wrong, and standing up for yourself, but in a certain way.
That's really great advice. For maybe someone that knows about someone that's getting bullied, what is your advice for someone who is trying to stand up for a peer or a friend who's going through this bullying?
Well, I think it's like the same protocol, is that you have to be very careful on how you approach that bully, right? So you have to take the certain measures and know, okay, if they're talking bad about my friend, I'm going to say that is, you shouldn't be doing this. This is wrong. But also, if it's really, really bad, there's different ways you can approach it, and whether that's talking to a teacher or principal and seeing about what it is in the school system that can help you. And I also think that, honestly, these forums on, the bullybust.org and any other outlets out there, it's really important to just sort of read what's happened with other people and how can I take these measures, to help my friend. So, there's so many different ways, but I think that you have to be very careful on how you approach that bully, as we say.
Oh, yeah. Now, time for some fun questions.
Yay! No more bullies.
Yeah.
So to start off this rapid fire,
Okay.
heels or flats?
Both.
Kate Moss or Kate Middleton?
Well, Kate Moss.
I think we already knew that answer.
Yeah, exactly.
Skirts or jeans?
Oh, gosh. That's a hard one. I would have to say both, too, but I think right now I'm very into jeans.
Leather or glitter?
Both! I love both! Let's do that one.
Ryan Gosling or Ryan Reynolds?
Gosling.
I feel that.
Great. You gotta drink coffee or tea?
I love my lattes,
Would you prefer coffee or tea?
but I love a chai tea too. So I'm every other day I think I switch off. Today I had chai tea, and then tomorrow will be an almond latte. So I'm bad with this. I'm saying both here.
What's your guilty pleasure?
Mint chocolate chip ice cream.
Stop, me too.
It's so good. It's so
My mom
good.
thinks it's really gross, but I love it.
I love it. And, bad reality TV.
Always.
Always, because, you unwind for the day and you just don't have to think. And I think that, and I like a, I don't think it's a bad guilty pleasure. I think a glass of wine with good friends, but and Doritos. I love Doritos.
Okay, one of my favorite pastimes. What is your go-to karaoke song?
So, Rent, what's the song? 500 Days, Seasons of Love.
Yeah.
And also Lean on Me by Bill Withers.
Oh, I like that.
Good one.
Girl after my own heart. I don't even. Like,
Tyler, we're just connecting here. We're gonna
I
have to
know,
keep
it's
talking shit
crazy.
together.
So this is gonna be a really hard question, I know, but who is your favorite designer right now? Right now.
I know. Oh, right now?
Yeah, I'll give you right now.
Right now. Well, I always say Coco Chanel, but that's really hard. Coco Chanel for sure is one of my favorite designers. I like a lot of people for different reasons. I mean, I would say Alexandra McQueen was a brilliant designer, the most talented, of our time. So
Yeah.
I would go with Coco Chanel and Alexandra McQueen.
Well, since you live in New York City, I think I know the obvious answer to this question. Beach resort or ski resort?
Oh, beach resort. I'm dying to get away.
I know. I can't handle the snow anymore. I live in the city too.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like so over the snow now.
Yeah,
and I'm from Chicago, and I went to school in Madison, Wisconsin, and I'm still over the snow.
Well, since sadly it's the end of the fun questions, next topic it will be smart is sexy. Here at IAM, we're like big advocates of the concept smart is sexy. You can have the beauty and the brains all at the same time.
So, Stacy, how do you juggle working hard and looking good?
Let's see. I always carry my Thai oil in my bag so that when I'm leaving to go to a meeting or an event, I smell good. And I have a lot of beauty tips on the go on my blog where I talk about just sort of, fast eyeshadow creams. This is actually by Drew Barrymore, her new line Flower, and it's like quickly you put it on. So I definitely do things that like are fast on the go for my busy lifestyle. I think that was your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
How has being smart and sexy helped you in your success?
Well, I think I just love that question. Smart and sexy. Again, who I've worked for really taught me about, the value of hard work. And, you don't have to be the most beautiful person in the room, but if you work hard, someone's going to notice your work ethic. So I took note of my peers and the people I've worked for. My employees take note of how hard I work, and I think that to me is a true sign of, that smart and sexy. So I guess just hard work ethic and having a good time at the same time.
Sadly, this is our last question.
Oh, so sad.
What quality do you find most sexy in a person?
In a person? Yes. Their personality. I love funny people.
Me too. Oh my God.
What is life without funny people? Let me think about it.
Yes, we all need to laugh.
Yes.
So, Stacey, it has been a pleasure having you here with us.
Thanks.
Well, that's all for tonight. This is IAM in your living room. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Have a great night, guys. Thank you. Bye.